I'm 105 years old, and I spent my entire life sleeping, not in bed, in motion, moving through days like they were practice rounds, waiting for the real thing to start. It never did. I need to tell you something before I go, not because it will save me, I'm done, but because you're still here making the same mistake. You think you have time. You don't. I see it everywhere, every young person scrolling at a coffee shop, every middle-aged man in his office thinking 3 more years and then I'll live, every woman postponing joy because the moment isn't right yet. There is no right moment. There's only this one, and you're wasting it. I wasted mine. Let me tell you how. When I was 30, I worked at a law firm, secretary. My husband, Thomas, worked at the steel mill. We had a small house, a garden, a life that looked fine. But I was always waiting for his promotion so we could buy the bigger house, waiting for our daughter Claire to finish school, waiting for retirement so we could finally take that trip to the ocean. I waited 40 years. Thomas died at 68. Heart attack. We never made it to the ocean. The bigger house happened, but by then my knees were gone. Claire moved away, and I sat in that empty house wondering what I'd been waiting for. But that's not the lesson. The lesson is harder. I knew the whole time I was waiting that this was my life. These were my days. And I chose the waiting anyway because it felt safer than living. I had a friend, Margaret. We worked together. She quit at 50, just walked out, said she was done trading her life for a paycheck. Everyone thought she was crazy. And at her funeral, the thing that struck me was how full her face looked, like she'd actually been present for her own life. I wasn't. I was there, but I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy planning the next thing, treating every moment like setup for something better coming later. Later never came. Here's what they don't tell you about death. It doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't wait for you to finish your list. It just comes. And when it does, every single thing you thought mattered stops mattering immediately. Your job? Irrelevant. Your title? Forgotten in a week. I watched this with my husband. He worked 40 years at that mill. Thought he was indispensable. They replaced him in 3 days. His name came up at the company picnic that summer, and someone said, "Oh yeah, I think he passed or retired or something." They weren't even sure. You are not as important as you think you are. The world will not stop when you die. And every hour you spend building a legacy or proving something to people who won't remember you is an hour you could have spent being alive. Being alive. That's the part I didn't understand until it was too late. But here's where you need to pay attention, because I'm not telling you to quit your job and run off somewhere. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying something harder, something nobody wants to hear. You can have the job and the house and the life you're building and still be asleep through all of it. You can be a good person, a responsible person, do everything right, and still miss your entire life. That's what I did. I was good. I showed up. I did my duty. And I was completely absent the whole time. You're sitting at dinner with your family, but your mind is at work. You're on vacation checking emails. I know this because I did all of it. I thought I was being responsible. I was just avoiding my own life. That's the real waste. Not that you're chasing the wrong things. It's that you're not even present for the chasing. You're living on autopilot, waiting for permission to start caring, waiting for some magical moment when everything will finally feel right. It will never feel right, because right is now, this moment, this breath. This ordinary Tuesday you're treating like it's worthless. I had thousands of ordinary Tuesdays with Thomas, and I can't remember a single one because I wasn't paying attention. I was waiting for the big moments, the anniversaries, the vacations, and I missed the entire marriage in between. Do you know what I think about now? A Saturday morning in 1965. Thomas was making eggs. Terrible cook. He burned them. I remember being annoyed because the kitchen smelled like smoke. That's all I remember. The annoyance, not his face, not his voice, not that this man I loved was 3 feet away trying to make me breakfast. That's what haunts me. Not the big moments I miss, the small ones, the 10,000 small moments I was physically present for, but mentally absent from. I can't get those back, but you can still have yours. My daughter Claire is 73 now. She calls every Sunday, and every Sunday I try to really listen, to remember that this conversation right now is not practice for some better conversation later. This is it. This is the relationship. And someday one of us won't be here. People think time is long. It's not. At 30 a year felt like forever. At 105 a year is nothing. December comes and you think, didn't we just have Christmas? It went by while you were waiting for it to start. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because I wish someone had said it to me. I wish someone had grabbed me at 35 or 45 or even 65 and said, Evelyn, stop. This is your life. These days right here. They're not leading up to something better. This is it. Nobody said that. So I'm saying it to you. You think you're building something, a career, a legacy, financial security, and those things aren't bad. But if you're sacrificing the present for the future, you're trading something real for something that might never come. My husband never made it to retirement. My friend Joan saved 30 years for a trip to Europe. Died at 64. Cancer. The money sat in the bank. I'm not telling you to be reckless. I'm telling you to wake up, to notice what's happening right now, to stop postponing joy. Because here's what nobody tells you. The people you love are not going to be here forever. Your parents, your spouse, your children. They're aging right now while you're worrying about work or money or what people think. And one day, they won't be here. And you'll wish you'd paid attention while you had the chance. I missed my husband's last decade because I was mad at him about something I can't even remember now. Some argument, some grudge. I withheld affection for years over something so small it's embarrassing. And now he's been gone 37 years, and I'd give anything for one more conversation, one more burned breakfast. You don't get those chances back. This is not a rehearsal. There are no do-overs. This is your one life, and it's happening right now. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I'll change. I'll slow down. I'll start paying attention once I finish this project or get through this busy season, or once things calm down. But things never calm down. There's always another project, another deadline, another thing that feels urgent, and one day you'll be 105 and you'll realize you spent your entire life getting ready to live instead of actually living. But here's the part that really breaks my heart, and I need you to hear this because it took me 90 years to understand it. Being good wasn't enough. Being responsible wasn't enough. I thought if I did everything right, if I took care of everyone, if I never caused problems, that would be a life well lived. It wasn't, because I used being good as an excuse to hide. I used duty as an excuse to avoid feeling. I used responsibility as an excuse to never ask what I actually wanted. I played the role. I never lived the life. And now I'm at the end and I can see it so clearly. All those years I spent being the good wife, the good mother, the good employee. I was performing. I was sleepwalking through a script someone else wrote. And I called it virtue when it was really just fear. I'm 105 years old. I've buried my husband and most of my friends. I've lived through wars and depressions and changes I couldn't have imagined. And the only thing I know for sure is that life is shorter than you think. Not because you're doing the wrong things, but because you're asleep while you're doing them. You're on autopilot. You're waiting for some future moment to start caring. And that moment never comes because it's now. It's always now. And if you're not here for it, you're missing everything. I don't have much time left. Maybe a few months, maybe less. And I'm not afraid to die. I'm tired. My body is tired. I'm ready to stop. But I'm not okay with you making the same mistakes I made. I'm not okay with you sleepwalking through your one precious life, waiting for permission to wake up. I'm running out of time. But you're not. Not yet.